My Neighbor from Hell, part 25. It is now July of 2024, and I start to notice that there are fleas in my apartment again. So I text Fred, and I'm like, hey, Fred, just making sure, like, you've been giving Stella her flea medication, and that you've checked her for fleas, because I'm finding fleas in my apartment. Messages me back, and he's like, she doesn't have fleas, like, she's all good. Okay, let's not jump to any conclusions. It is like end of July, you know, we're in West Hollywood. Like it is like flea and tick season, you know, it's a buggy time of year. So I'm like, maybe that's just what's going on. A few days later, it gets to the point where I'm not kidding you, but like I cannot open my front door without fleas getting into my apartment. I step outside, there are fleas that will stick to my legs. I'm finding fleas in my socks. There are fleas in the laundry room. There are fleas fucking everywhere. So I text Fred again and I'm like, Fred, are you sure that Stella doesn't have fleas? And like, you're positive about this? Because I'm literally finding them like all over the place. I have bites all over my ankles, like, bro. He's like, well, her fleas have gotten worse since her last flea bath that I gave her 2 weeks ago. I've got a call into my vet to see if we can find out about switching her flea meds. Seems like we need to do this, you know, every few months or so. And I lose my fucking shit. This is the point for me where like I completely and totally lose any sympathy I ever had for Fred. It stops right here. For those of you that are like, you never had any sympathy for Fred, you always hated him, blah, blah, blah. That's not true. There are lots of things that I did for this guy that, you know, you guys don't know about or I haven't told you. Was I a saint to this man? No, but I did lots of nice stuff for him. I mean, I would always, if I ever needed to go to the airport, I would always ask him to give me a ride and pay him so he could earn extra money. You know, if I ever had like extra groceries or whatever, I would give them to him. One time I went to the farmer's market and I was like, oh, I got you a thing of hummus because I thought you might like this. I would always buy treats for his dog at Trader Joe's. I mean, I even gave this dude my Hulu login, okay? No, I realize it's not like I went out of my way for this guy and like did nice things for him all of the time, but I mean, like, I was nice to Fred. But anyway, I respond and I say something like, and again, this is me paraphrasing, I could pull up the text, but whatever. But I basically say something like, Fred, she has to be on the flea medication every single month. You can't just give her the flea pill like when you feel like giving her the flea pill. Like if you don't give her the flea pill, it's not a matter of if she will get fleas, it is a matter of when, especially over the summer, especially in West Hollywood, especially when there's all these dogs around. Like, come on. So I text my landlord. And for those of you who are like, oh my God, here we go. She's texting her landlord again. I feel bad for her landlord. Do not feel bad for my landlord. It may seem like I was texting him all the time, but I honestly only texted him all the time when Fred first moved in. At this point, almost 2 years ago. So like I barely talk to my landlord. I barely text my landlord. Haven't spoken to the dude in literally like over a year and a half. But I text my landlord and I'm like, there are fleas in my apartment again. This happened 2 years ago. I'm like, I obviously, you know, can only imagine that this is coming from Fred's apartment because he obviously has a dog. And I'm like, I don't have any animals, haven't had a dog for many years now. So there's no reason there should be fleas in my apartment. You know, of course, my landlord's like, tells me the same thing he basically told me before. He's like, I don't really know if there's anything that I can do about it, but I certainly will reach out to him and like see. And he's like, but you know, I don't really think that there's anything that I can do about his dog having fleas. So it's now the first week of August 2024. And I get an angry text from Fred being like, you don't have to go to landlord and like be telling him about the fleas. The only time that Stella didn't have flea meds was because I couldn't afford them. I have a call into my vet and I'm trying to fix this. Again, I'm paraphrasing. I could read you guys the text, but it's something like that. And I'm like, honestly, Fred, I have every right at this point in time to be pissed off, and I have every right to say something to him. There are fleas in my apartment. It is unsanitary. It is a health hazard. It is disgusting. And this isn't the first time this has happened. From that point forward, Fred and I were no longer on speaking terms. He hated me, and I don't blame him for that. I probably would hate me too, but like, I had reached my breaking point. Like, that was just when I was like, enough. Also, I should mention that on street cleaning days in like August and September, Fred started to park his car in the driveway and block me in. This usually happened again like once a week when street cleaning was happening. But you know, he would come home at like, I don't know, 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, whatever time he would get back, park his car in the driveway, block me in, fall asleep, and then just forget that his car was there. So I would text him and I was like, hey, like I have to leave at like noon or whatever. Is there any way that you can move your car? And my texts were going through and they were green. So I was like, that's weird. Like maybe his phone died or like his phone is off or something. I don't know. So I would literally have to go bang on his door to wake his ass up to move his car because he was blocking me. I of course later realized that he had blocked me on text also. Like he blocked my phone number. So I was no longer able to communicate with Fred via text. More to come.